Welcome, So-La-Rah here. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm back with another shorter form reading, although I have a feeling that this one might be a little bit longer than the others. We'll see. Um, I've been procrastinating on this one because it feels like very uncharted territory in terms of the readings that I normally do. And uncharted because like this energy has come up in the past, but I haven't really delved into it in a reading, and I haven't really delved into it in personal research either. So everything that I'm going to pick up today, for the most part, is going to be intuitive and through my guides and the cards. So before I get into that, I want to welcome you. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for all of your support and your love. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments, your subscribes, your words of encouragement, your emails, your donations. I appreciate all the ways that you guys sow back to me. And it's my intention whenever you engage with one of my readings that you walk away feeling more in your own energy and empowered and ready to take your life like it's a bull and you're grabbing the horns or the cojones. Depends on what you're into. Whether you're a horn type of person or a cojones type of person. Either way, I want you to be empowered. All jokes aside. Okay, so let me get into this reading. So like I said in the other two readings, I was getting a lot of downloads, and my guides were very specific with me. They said to me to do these readings, each individual download, to do it separately. And they also let me know that some of these readings will have a connecting thread. So in other words, for some of you, when you are vibing with one of these readings, you might want to check out the other ones. There'll probably be something more in them for you. And for some of you, just the one reading alone will stand. Okay, what else do I want to say? Yes, I think that's it before I get into it. So this download that they were speaking to me on was, I kept on hearing, you're blessed and highly favored. You're blessed, the message, not necessarily just to me. The message was, you're blessed and highly favored. And I don't know how many of you know this. I was a born-again Christian. When I first began to awaken, like 15 years ago, I had such a profound experience where my channel was suddenly open and I was receiving messages, and I went running around looking to emulate that experience, and I found it in the charismatic church. And so I became a born-again Christian, which was part of my journey too. And I say all of that because when I do things, I don't do them by halves. When I go all in. If I'm going to do the damn thing, I'm going to do the damn thing. And so I had that same kind of energy towards being a born-again Christian, in the sense that I went in there really wanting to know God. And so I didn't just show up in church every Sunday and gossip with the women and listen to the preacher. I read the Bible from cover to cover. And not only did I read the Bible from Genesis to Revelations, I had study Bibles, reference Bibles. I had concordances. I was cross-referencing. I was doing word studies. I was testing theories and how I prayed with scripture. Like I was scientific in my approach. I didn't really realize it at the time, but I was. I was all in, like I said. And so when I heard this you're blessed and highly favored, I instantly knew we were dealing with Mary energy. Because I want to say it's in the Gospel of Luke, but I don't remember for sure. I think it's the Gospel of Luke where we have the fullest picture in the Bible of who Mary was. And I think it was Luke who, and don't quote me on this, it's been a while, 1944 on my clock as I say this, that's the Divine Mother energy, and Mary is one face of that. The Gospel of Luke, I believe it is the one gospel where you get a little bit of an insight of Mary's struggle with finding out. I think it's in that one you see her conversation with Gabriel. And I think it's that gospel where you get the most insight into Mary's experience, having been visited by the Holy Spirit to carry this holy child who we know as Yeshua, right? And so As I say that, I find it very interesting because in the last reading, Gabriel was the angel card that came out. So there is something here it might be a completely different message, but there's some kind of, like I'm seeing my guides, there is some kind of thread here. So when Gabriel presented Mary with the news, I believe one thing he said to her is that blessed and highly favored are you among women. For you will carry, and I'm not saying this verbatim, he said something like, for you will carry, I forget his exact words, and then he quoted from the book of Isaiah. And he said, and the baby you carry will be known as, mighty, counselor, prince of peace. And he started labeling all of these things, listing all of these titles that the Christ would have. And he was listing exactly, he was quoting directly from the book of Isaiah. Because the Old Testament, the whole thread through the Old Testament is pointing, the Old Testament is full of Christ energy. It's just hidden. It's always speaking about the Christ to come. And then the New Testament is the arrival of the Christ, right? And so this is what Gabriel said. And I remember in one morning of Bible, like studying the Bible, being up very early and studying, and I was alone, and all of a sudden my heart like expanded when I read this text, and I didn't get why. So I started to go into study, and I came to recognize and realize that the word blessed, I did a word study on it. I don't have it anymore because I've done a lot of moving since then, and I didn't go into it today. I just remember one of the things that stuck with me, and this was a deep word study, and that is that we really use the word blessed in the wrong way in our culture, which is, not surprising. We use the word blessed in the etymology from the translation of the Hebrew into the Greek. And the translation of the Hebrew into the Greek means, I think it means like to be happy or to be envied, which is really fucked up, because if you want other beings to envy you, that means you want other beings to be in lack. It means you want other beings to, it means also that you're a carrier of the spirit of envy. I think I've talked about this in other videos before. Beings who like other beings to envy them are carriers of the spirit of envy. They're spreaders of that energy. Okay, so make of that what you will. Maybe that's a separate message for somebody. But the Greek etymology says that, and so that is more in alignment with what we see nowadays. #blessed. But the Hebrew etymology, the original word that was used in the Hebrew, and even I think you can go back to like the Aramaic, where the Bible came from, also the Hebrew and the Aramaic, and then you can go deeper into other esoteric texts that the Bible was lifted from, and you will find that it actually means to be blessed, means to be the dwelling place of the Spirit of God. That's what blessed actually means. It means to be filled with the Holy Spirit, filled with the Spirit of God. And so I don't know if you're already picking up on how you can see how culture and society has really twisted that to make it very matrixy in its approach, and for a reason. Okay, so as many of you know, like the Divine Mother energy, she's rising, she's risen. Okay, she has risen out of obscurity. She's bringing back the natural order. She is supported by the Divine Father. We are bringing back the original divine plan and template for this earth before it became an enslavement program that we now call and know as the Matrix. We're bringing back a divine matrix, because matrix in and of itself is not a bad word. It actually is derived from mother, and it is the point of creation where it begins to like kind of emulate or flow. I don't want to get too much into that word etymology, but you can look it up yourself. They made a false matrix system, a false mother system, but all energies come through matrices, you could kind of say. And there's someone here who carries this divine lineage energy, this connection to Mother Mary, which therefore connects you to the Christ. And I want you to know that divine lineage is very different than blood lineage. Okay, you come into these bloodlines in the matrix oftentimes as light beings because you carry a seed, you carry codes, and you carry a certain divine lineage that is that you are entering into their bloodline for them to make use of so that they can rise. Okay, this is what the story of Jesus was here to show us. Okay, you come to bring the light of Christ to help them to reconnect with the Christed light that many of them have put out through their own choices. There's someone here who's come through a family who has a direct link divinely, your divine lineage. You are directly a descendant of Yeshua, the line of David. Some would argue that most light beings, the 144 frequency, are the ones who are. There's debate because your lineage can go farther than that. But either way, even if your lineage does go farther than that time in history, the reason why you've been targeted is because very specifically of this link with the Madonna. The link with the Mary energy, the Divine Mother energy. And like I said, Mary is one face of the Divine Mother energy. And what my guys just said is that some of you precede that energy, and Mary is just one representation of that in your own divine lineage too. So some of you have been energetically tampered with from the time you entered into this earth plane, and you did so with the blessing of your family. Because the minute that you enter into the matrix, there are certain beings who have a complete, and I spoke about this in the very long download video I just did, like maybe 2 videos away from this. They have your galactic history. It's part of the reason, not the reason, but you cannot enter here without having, without them knowing that. It's kind of like everything is on Earth is a reflection of everything in the cosmos. So everything is a copy. Our legal system, our like immigration, all of that, except you can look up the matrix and it's a bastardization of divine or cosmological law and order. Okay, so in order for us to lawfully come into the matrix, we had to take on their rules. And so you come through and you are, it's almost like your process, like they know your galactic history, and you're assigned to certain family lines divinely, yes, but also in accordance with what they want to achieve with you through their matrix program. And what they want to achieve with you is to take your caliber of light and use you as a battery to continue to keep the matrix system alive without your knowing. So in other words, they place you in situations and families, etc., in lines where you have the smallest chance based upon your own galactic history of waking up. And you come in here and you take on that contract because you have faith in yourself and your guides and their ability to raise you up into your truth. And that's what has happened for many of you. But these orders and societies are looking to get a hold of that, like access you, to gain access to your energy field. And that's why they will often go through other family members to do that. And there's some of you who literally, your family's entire come up in the matrix, no matter what that is, because again, your energy is so multifaceted and multidimensional that it can be used for many things. What it was supposed to be used for was for their healing and ascension. But many of them instead made deals to put you in states where you would stay in deeper states of amnesia and slumber so that they could materialize and get matrix trinkets off of your divine energy. And so this message is for someone because up until you awoke, some of you awoke just in the nick of time. I'm going to be completely frank. And some of you, they literally have been trapping you. I'm not just talking about like targeting, trapping you in order to get access to your Madonna frequency, your Madonna energy. And many of them, the energy that they are, the main energy center that they're going to in order to siphon is your womb, which is a portal into other realms. It's a portal into your cosmological reality, who you are. There are many different portals, but in terms of getting access to your resources, it's your womb, okay? And your womb is considered to be your sacred or your sacral energy. But I want you to focus on the word sacred. And I've talked about this in other readings because one of the main ways they harvest and harness your sacred energy is through profane institutions, systems, services, and rituals that are masking themselves through religious spells as being sacred. And so when they can rope you into their rituals, that's one way, like just going to church. You see people, I'm not going to do it, but you see people do the cross. That's a closing down of your energy centers. When you do that consistently, that's the point. To close down your energy center, you go from your third eye to your heart, and on either side, it's a closing down. Even, I'm not going to get into that right now. I don't feel confident enough to talk about that right now. Okay, we'll talk about it another time. But the point is that your family knew and they signed you up for this process of consistent slaughter. And for many of you, the energies, you'll know that this is your situation if there are a few things that my guides are showing me here. For one thing, spinsterhood. If you've never been able to get married, or if you did get married and nothing lasts. It can also be people being in miserable marriages, but for the most part, these beings are very, very adamant to keep you single because they don't want any man having access to your womb energy. They don't even want you having access to your womb energy. So for some of you, even, and I've said this before, if you have children, that in and of itself was a breaking of the spell and their control. Okay, because you were bound so tightly by certain energetic principles that your womb was, for all intents and purposes, under someone else's possession. So them babies you have are miracles, walking miracles. Okay, I want to get into this with some cards because I feel like what I've shared with you so far isn't anything really new. But I want to get into why they're bringing this up again and why they're bringing it up now. They said because the containment now is broken. The containment is broken. The containment is broken. For some of you, you weren't even you could never even hold down permanent work. You could never hold down permanent work. Some of you never had real careers because something inevitably would always happen, or you become sick, all manner of things. But that again is because of this energy of possession. Possession. Possessing you. Possessing the part of you that energetically brings forth your abundance. It's what is here to help you birth your reality, birth beauty, birth loving situations, birth financial opportunities and abundance. And because they had a hold of that energy, because they had possession of your womb, due to things that they did to you as a child, and for every one of you it's going to be different, you never had the ability to actually live, love, make money, thrive. You might be a person who your whole life you watched other people do things and you couldn't figure out what was wrong with you. Why does everyone reach all of these milestones and I don't seem to, they're always just out of my reach. You know, and not that it's a terrible thing now, because now you realize that it's because those I couldn't fall, you couldn't fall, we couldn't fall into those situations that were beneath our value. We were here to wake up, but at the time it was traumatizing as fuck, and that was part of the energy harvesting too. Look at this, envy. I just talked about that, how they switched up the etymology of blessed by going into changing, translating it from the Hebrew into the Greek. And who knows if that was an altogether kosher translation process. And the Greek now means to be envied, right? And here we have envy. Words are spells, guys. Envy. But we also have at the bottom of the deck, walking away. Walking away. The containment is broken. Walking away. And in this energy is does she not look like some kind of evil magician of some kind? She's lifeless. I don't know if you can see this. Within, it looks like, funnily enough, it looks like some kind of church or cathedral with a lot of Gothic architecture. And on the outside is all this golden energy. And on the inside, she's here spell casting. It's almost like she's in a sepulcher or a tomb. And her face is whitewashed. She looks like she's devoid of life. She looks like, I don't know if you can see that. She looks like the scripture where Jesus is castigating the Pharisees and he's calling them whitewashed tombs. And what he's saying by that is he's saying that they are literally, they look, because a whitewashed tomb means it's a tomb that's in good condition on the outside. It looks put together, but it's still a holder of death. So these Pharisees, which were the secret societies of the day, this is why they couldn't stand Jesus' ass. Rome didn't have a problem with him as much as the Pharisees. Okay? He was talking about the Pharisees because he was talking about how they were parading around, being God over other beings, trying to be God and sucking them of life, but pretending like they were the keepers of life, when really their spirits are dead. And this energy here is like, it's almost like this, there's a reason they had me go into the blessed and highly favored. The blessed word, the Greek translation of it, it meaning to be envied, versus the original translation of it, which means to be filled with the Holy Spirit. The switching of the translation is ultimately what caused the growing of the spell. So literally, many of you have been under an envy spell. You've been under an envy spell, okay, where beings are supposed to envy you. Because when you think about it, to be envied is not to really be loved. It's not to truly be admired. It's when other beings want what you have. It's when other beings want to be with you, be you. It's when other beings want to take from you. That's nothing to aspire to. That is being a target for energy harvesting. You're walking away from this. The containment is over. You truly are blessed and highly favored because you found your way back to being filled with the Spirit of God. You found your way back into your divinity, and now you've unlocked your favor. You've unlocked your 9 of Pentacles. It's going to come through more in Virgo season. Virgo is connected to the Virgin Mary. It's the Virgin. It's the Virgin aspect of the mother. There are 3 aspects of the mother in the zodiac. If you ask me, you don't have to agree with me. But there's the Cancer energy. Adjacent possibilities wanted to come out. So I'll let it. There's a Cancer energy. There's the Virgo energy. And they bookend the Leo energy because they're protectors of the Leo energy, because the Leo energy is your Christed energy. It's the gate to your Christed energy. It's the gate to your Christed energy. It's your gold. And the Cancer energy helps to form the foundation for you to access that. And the Virgo energy helps you to actually materialize it. But the Virgo energy is considered to be the Virgin. So it's very much connected to the Mary energy and Mother Mary very specifically. And the reason for that is because Mary was entrusted with the Christed energy. So you can, the way you read the Bible or any esoteric book, I've talked about this before, is that it's a multifaceted, multidimensional book because it's a reflection of the fact that we are multifaceted and multidimensional beings. And these books were written for us. They were tampered with, the Bible is not the original text, obviously. It goes back to the ancient, like Egyptian and even Mesopotamian, Akkadian, all of the stuff that we read in there is actually in some of those books too. Many of those books have been taken and hidden by certain religious institutions, and they use it in order to control, to get control over the masses also. But I say that because when we are reading about Mary carrying Jesus, we're not only talking about her carrying a physical baby, we're talking about her carrying forth the essence of the Christed energy in order to birth forth liberation. Virgo energy is concerned with your liberation. The Hermit is your light out into liberation. The 9 the Hermit, which is a Virgo energy, is the number 9 in the tarot, and 9 is the number of endings, but it's also the number that is concerned with doing everything alone. It's the birthing and the death process. And when you look at the Hermit is carrying the lantern. The lantern is the light that has been fought to get through the Strength card from the Chariot. The Chariot is when your light body comes online through Cancer. The Chariot also, my guys were showing me recently, those wheels at the Chariot, the wheels on the Chariot are your divine destiny. Some would say it's even your astrology, it's your birth charts moving forward. But anyway, the Leo energy is fighting to get back control over that through the Strength. Personal control is yours, right? And the Lion energy arises to help you. But then the Virgo energy is a Hermit. The lantern that the Hermit is carrying is the recovered light that's come through the Leo energy, through the Strength, to get you to the Wheel of Fortune, where you get off the Wheel of Fuckery and onto the Wheel of Fortune, and you can move forward in dharmic living. It's through Virgo, it's through the Virgin, it's through the birthing of the Christ, it's through the birthing of your liberation. And this message is for somebody who you've been under containment your whole life. Energetic containment. Walking around not realizing that every opportunity and door would always be closed to you because you were under these spells where you were not allowed to go. If you want to think about it astrally, okay, because this is how things are achieved, as above, so below. What they do in the spirit is going to occur on the earth for as long as they can tune the mental and the emotional planes, or tune you mentally and emotionally to accept the commands that they've created in the spiritual reality, so then you begin to birth it through your own energy field. It's called manifestation. It's not creation. It's called manifestation at that point. Even this whole idea of manifesting a destiny is about destiny stealing. But we won't get into that today. They cause you to cast your own spells over yourself and think that it's liberty. It's not. The true liberty comes through returning to self and not succumbing to their spells in church and religion and politics and all of that stuff. So, what was I saying? So I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, let's turn the cards around. It might come back, it might not. Okay, so this is very interesting because what's actually come out is we have a man holding a heart, and then we have adjacent possibilities. But the card that wanted to come out but didn't come out too was the man holding a coin. So we have the man holding a heart that actually came out, and at the bottom of the deck we have the door to personal healing and happiness. So for some of you, this end to containment, the containment spells being broken, their possession over your womb energy being done with at this point, it's actually finally allowing a true romantic contract to begin in your life. And also a financial one for some of you, because like I said, the man holding a coin was coming in. So for many of you, you haven't been able to sustain anything. It's almost like, and I've talked about this in the past, like this, this is what I was talking about. The spells, in order to have you contained on the earth, you must be contained in the heavens. So they had you locked away. I've talked about this before. They had you locked away in boxes, in containers. Then they emulate it through sympathetic magic and other forms. But here's a really fucked up thing too, is that the sympathetic magic they were using, a lot of it's ancient, but because of the spell they had on you of envy and having other beings want to possess you, you guys might wonder why your whole life you've been like, you've been persecuted or you've been chased by these beings who want you, who want to have you, but they don't want to love you. Because that kind of energy inspires other beings to cast spells too. So you've had all manner of beings acting crazy, container spells, casting things against you and doing it, and some of them not even knowing why. And then on top of that, you've got these entities that are jumping from person to person, looking for a being, for something to come up in a being's heart that can match them to the energy. In other words, if you already had a spell where other beings are supposed to envy you, and so it puts out this energy where beings just want to possess you, which is what they're already doing, possess you instead of love you, then with that kind of spell, people are already, when they come into your energy, they may be drawn to you, but that spell would go into effect. So that was the energy that the entity that's been chasing you your whole lifetime, that was a spell that the entity or entities needed to work in order to attach to the being. Because in order for a person to want to possess you, they cannot love you. They must envy you. They must have these lower level energies that are perfect for an entity to flow through. I hope that makes sense. For some of you, any financial constraints you have are going to be lifting. You're being called to rest and rejuvenate your energy, but also know when to move, because there was another reading that was coming. The last reading I did was also speaking about this energy of they wanted to keep you in a state of rest so that you, they wanted to keep you in states of rest so that you wouldn't work, so that you wouldn't move towards your dreams, so that they could maintain possession over your financial reality by way of keeping you under, in order to maintain their access and their possession of your sacral energy. I hope that makes sense. You can check out the last reading if you want to go deeper into that energy. It's like they wanted to keep you thinking that you always just need to be in this state of rest, like you're sick or something, or constantly in a state of recovery. And the whole point is for as long as you weren't going after, you might have noticed this, for as long as you weren't going after what it is you wanted, they were okay. Life was okay. But the minute you start to tap into your own energy and begin to go after things, that's when all of the nasty energy would come towards you, all of the resistance, because they wanted you in a state of like not caring. For some of you, they wanted you addicted. And addiction can be anything. It can be drugs, it can be food, it can be sleep, it can be anything. Anything that takes you out of balance. And for some of you, those ones of you who have the miracle babies, they were under attack too. Because they hold that energy too. Because there's no way they would have been able to bypass those spells and come through you if they themselves weren't powerful beings. Most of you, I say this to my babies all the time, they're more powerful than me. And that's how it's supposed to be. Come to me, attracting like a rose, receive abundance desires. So I'm going into the Rose Oracle now. And at the bottom we have Lineage of the Rose. Yep. Lineage of the Rose. I almost feel like the Divine Mother, this energy of come to me, it's like she's called you back. She's called you back, and under her protection, those of you who are under her protection, you probably see 4-4 and 4-4-4 a lot. Under her protection is how the containment spells were broken. And so now your true divine contracts cannot be blocked by that spell work, but the barriers that you have to get over now in terms of accessing your divine contracts is getting over your own hurt and the lack of trust that has been established because of the constant cycles of betrayal. Because every being was set up to betray you. It's true. But also, what's also true is that nobody can really betray you unless they have it in their heart already to want to do so, because they don't really like you. So there's something in their heart that gives way to those energies too. None of them are innocent. No person who is under spell work, who has done something against you, is innocent because they were under a spell. A spell cannot attach to an energy that doesn't exist within somebody's heart. The grandmothers. You have so many beautiful Divine Mother energies surrounding you right now. And they are so proud of you for reconnecting to your light. They are so proud of you for getting back their resources, because you are of them. You came here to do something on their behalf. And they're so proud that you have accomplished it. And it's like they want to shower you now with the Divine Mother energies, like your abilities, to get the fullness of your abilities back. And I want to also say that although this energy tends to really be very pronounced in women, there are men who also carry this energy too. It's not a gender thing. Although because women, we have the physical wombs, it's a little bit different. They tend to really gravitate towards us, but there are men who carry these codes also. Okay? The Rose Garden. The Rose Garden. You're being replanted. You're being reconstituted. Is that the word? Reinstated into your rose glory. Some of you are going to want to work with rose at this point. Work with pink. Work with this energy. You're so supported right now. And as I say that, look, she's literally in the womb. You're so supported right now as you're birthed back into your truth. The blueprint is within you. Take the next step. I actually have to go. So I'm not going to get into this too much more. I think I've gotten kind of the answers that I wanted to get. I think there might be a part 2 to this reading. There might be. We'll see if my guides feel I've sufficiently delved into this energy. But they're telling me to go, before I leave, to go into the Sacred Activations deck. Your time of containment is over. I remember whenever I would read the story of Mary and Jesus, I always would have I would always connect so deeply to the levels of persecution she must have faced, especially at that time. And I feel like many of you have been living in that energy your whole lives. That persecution that Mary faced from the time she showed up pregnant, shunned. Can you imagine what kind of energy? And this is how you know that spells only work on beings when they already have that shit in their hearts. Because, you know, Joseph thought to leave Mary. He did. He was under a lot of pressure to leave her, but it took one visitation from Gabriel. I think it was Gabriel also. One visitation for Gabriel to set right in Joseph what was already in his heart. And in his heart was to stay with Mary. And he needed the divine push to do so. Because his heart was not to leave her. He didn't have that evil in his heart towards her. And yet, with that being said, can you imagine the kind of stress and strain that put on their relationship? Beautiful. Gaia. The frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our great mother and to the universe that birthed us all. You have been reunited, reinstated, reconstituted. Allowance. The frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way without judgment, without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. So I'm getting a few messages here. On the one hand, it's like you're being given back what is yours through this energy of allowance, but you're also being helped to be able to receive again. Because again, the betrayal cycles, the stop and start cycles of being with a person, and then all of a sudden the energy comes in to interfere, and they fall under the spell, and the spell takes them away from you. And it's just like, you just get so used to it that some of you decided to be in full hermit mode, you know, to the point where it wasn't balanced and healthy. This Virgo season, hermit mode, is helping you to exercise that energy with exercise that energy in balance, because the containment spell is broken. So I feel like that's really what they wanted me to get to today. Blessed and highly favored are you amongst beings, those of you who this reading is resonating with. And blessed means to be filled with the Holy Spirit, with the Spirit of truth, with the Spirit that is the messenger of the Most High, of Source energy. And to be highly favored means you've been looked upon with favor. And the thing about it is, you're highly favored because you chose. It's not just something that you've been given because you're better than. No, you chose to do the work. You chose to get back to this state. So well done. Well done. So I'm going to love you. I'll see you guys again soon. I'm sending you so much love, joy, peace, balance. stability, calm, focus, groundedness, rootedness. Every beautiful thing that is your divine right to have when you're walking in the truth of who you are, okay? If you'd like to work with me, feel free to check out my channel. Well, you're on my channel. Feel free to check out my website, So-La-Rah with an H.info. I have a full menu of my services there. And if you would like to book with me, then I invite you to email me or to go through the contact me page of my website. I only do bookings through interfacing with you via email. Okay, so yes, I think that's it. I will see you guys again soon. Until next time, be well. Mwah.